Alright, we should have audio now. I think so. Let me double check. We're good, okay. Hello everybody! Sorry about that. I haven't streamed from my desktop in a hot minute, so I had to make sure that my mic was set to the right one. I'm Jack, UI UX designer, illustrator, animator, donut connoisseur, and today we're doing a random Thursday stream. Josh was here for it. I'm glad to hear it. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a week. It's been a couple weeks for those of you that know. Last time we tried streaming from the iPad and it was kind of a disaster, so I'm making up for this weekend's stream today with a Thursday stream. We'll see if we get the usual folks or if we get some new people in today. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch to my other screen. Alright, so I've got Illustrator open. I wanted today to be kind of a chill stream, and I was kind of struggling after this week to come up with an idea that I wanted to go with. So, I thought it would be fun. This has been a website that's been kind of like on my Instagram feed for a long time now, but it's called What the Prompt, and they have just kind of like silly ideas to kind of spur your imagination, and so I was just kind of scrolling through here. Some of them are sort of silly, a watermelon cat. Some of them are just strange. This one's like a salad. But I wanted to do this one, maybe my own kind of interpretation of it. So if you all want to follow along, I've actually got a link to this in the description if you wanted to do something along the same lines of this prompt, or you wanted to find one from here. Honestly, these are just prompts to get you going if you wanted to create a logo or I don't know, a poster design, literally anything around this idea you can. This one I'm going to be working on is an upside down umbrella filled with water and 2 rubber ducks swimming in it. I'm probably not going to take this so literally because I don't have to. So, yeah, we're just going to get started here. I'm probably going to start with the umbrella. Bliss is here. Welcome, Bliss. Happy Thursday. Andre saying, what's the best donut I've ever had? Oh, that's a really tough call. I am a big fan of old-fashioned donuts. Like, some places call them around here sour cream donuts, which doesn't mean sour cream in the literal sense. It means that the batter has had sour cream added to it, similar to, like, if you've ever had a, I'm losing my train of thought, like, pound cake or any kind of cake that has sour cream in the mix or something like that. There's other examples. I'm just kind of blanking on what they are right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get a color palette going while I talk. But those are probably my favorite kind of donuts. I also do like a sort of sun-filled donuts. I like punchkis, which are kind of I think they're more of a Midwestern thing. There's actually Punchki Day here in Cleveland, where I live, where they have different bakeries that make them. They're sort of a special type of a filled donut in that they're like a more dense donut, if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm not liking any of these colors. I'm gonna go with that. I'm trying to do like a gradation. I wanted to do like bright neon colors today, so this is the mood that I'm in. I do need to get some blues in there though. This is supposed to be kind of water focused. I'm gonna go with a dark color. I'm trying to get a mix of like nice darks and lights. So that's kind of my goal when I'm doing this. Let me know what your favorite type of donut is in the chat. Let's go with that for now. There we go. I like that color palette. Just as a starting point. Fat Tuesday, yes, Corey. Bliss is doing good. That's good to hear. Alright, so we need to make an upside down umbrella is sort of like the crux of this prompt. So I'm going to do a little bit of sketching. Probably on this layer that I have. Just with some shapes. Actually, let's go ahead and grab all of our colors. Make sure that we add them to our swatches. Make a folder. These should all be global. Yep, okay. Make this a little bit larger so you can see it. Zoom in. Essentially want to have this be like the top of area of my umbrella. We'll scale it out a little bit. I'm going to turn off scale strokes and effects really quickly. Just briefly while I'm working on this. I'm going to pull this kind of up. I mean, I've got smart guides on. It's helping me kind of snap to things. Right, there we go. And we can kind of, I'm using these circles kind of like all together like this. Trying to keep them all in a center line here. Actually extend this up because this will become sort of the handle of my umbrella. I can determine if I want this to be, you know, tilted more or less now that I've got this all kind of set up here. But I think I kind of like that. I do want a little bit of a tilt to it. I am going to, I think, extend these out a little bit wider. That looks good. To give myself a little bit more area to work from. Nick's here. Josh said, I love a good sour cream donut. I'm glad somebody else knows. Normally in the chat when I say sour cream donut, everybody's like, ew, what is that? What is that? So I'm glad there's some other sour cream fans. Okay, there's a couple other things I'm gonna do here to kind of save myself some time. I'm gonna use a polar grid here. This is gonna be for like the central spokes. So I'm gonna use the down arrows to decrease the number of rings that are kind of like radiating outward. And I can go up to alter the number of, I guess, spokes in this case. I want like an even number. I don't want to go crazy. Let's start with this and see how it goes. So, since I have used a basic shape here, I can actually use the transform panel to help myself out a little bit. So I can change the width and the height of my object because it's keeping it. And then I can use the angle of rotation here and it should line up perfectly. So if you can see now, if I reset the bounding box, this wouldn't work anymore, but because I've just kind of kept it a basic circle, this is going to work for the time being. Actually, let's double check. I have these values correct. Looks like it might have accidentally there we go. And now when I kind of like align these here, oh, that did not work. Let's undo that. Let's go back. It might be because of the weirdness that was happening with my scaling. Alright, so we've got our width is correct. I just need to change the height. That should work. Oh, I wonder if this is gonna be a problem. Let's try this instead, actually. So these are the original dimensions of my ellipse, and these are the dimensions of it after it's been transformed. So that, I think, is what was tripping me up. So I need to copy those. There we go. I'm just kind of using these like guides for myself, if that makes sense. Because I'm gonna need to add those, like, I don't know, I guess I would call them wave shapes to the umbrella. So, I'm kind of using this for that. I'm gonna also copy and paste this here, because umbrellas kind of have, if I move this kind of down, smart guides, umbrellas kind of have that center area where they have like those wires that kind of come out. Let's make this a little bigger. I know that probably doesn't make any sense. Mostly because this is a little bit chaotic. I'm actually going to pull this out. No, I'm going to leave it. I might copy this shape here for that kind of central. It'll make sense in a minute. Okay, I think this is enough of a sketch to go off of. Let me add a new layer here. And I'm actually going to bring all of this down a bit. At 25%, I'm going to lock it, and now we can start to figure out what the shape of this umbrella needs to be. Think about this. I'm actually going to do one more thing on this layer. I'm actually gonna, let me hide this for now. Let me hide this for now. I'm also gonna hide this. I'm just going to start with these, I think. And then I'm going to just kind of connect the lines here. Obviously you're not going to see all of this because of the outside, but I do want to have like some of it visible from the inside, because you're going to see like the outside edge here, and then we'll cut this and have the inside visible. Oh, come on, my mouse is giving me trouble. Make sure that we have this outside piece here as well. Let's start with the outermost edge. Copy and and paste this up. So I'm basically building like a wireframe of my umbrella. Sorry, let me keep an eye on chat as well. Stuart's here, welcome. Andre saying never had sour cream donut. I guess I'll have to look for them now. Oh well, but I've never seen them here in NYC, New York. You've never seen them in New York? There's got to be a place. There's the Donut Lab in New York, right? Probably has them. I believe that's the name of the place. Bliss is saying sour cream donuts are sinful to me, just sinful. And Corey's saying that's how you know they're good. Exactly. Douglas is saying, wow, is that a kaleidoscope? We're actually working on an upside down umbrella. So I have kind of like built out a really quick sketch. Let me pull out my layers panel so we can see what's going on here. It's only a matter of time, right? I've got a couple more shapes in here to use as guides, like where the wires connect. But this is just kind of, at least for me, an easy way to visualize how all of the shapes of an umbrella get constructed. I know it's a little bit chaotic, but as we go through and add more to this, it should start to make more sense. I hope, anyways. So I'm gonna actually pull out, I think it's this piece here. I don't actually want to use that anymore. I want to actually use this. So, I'll zoom in here. So there's like the outside edge. And I'm also gonna grab this shape here. Actually, I'm gonna hide the inside so you can see where I can see kind of like where my edge is gonna need to be. Actually, you know what we could try doing? And I say try. You can try doing this. Let's copy this. Let's go ahead and paste this front. Let's see if I can do a divide to get all those little lines. Maybe not. Let's isolate this group and see what we get here. Not quite. You can see that it's, I don't know, maybe. Essentially what I'm trying to do is end up with all of these individual lines that have points, so it doesn't look like quite made it all the way around. I was hoping I could do this so then I could just use the, let me show you, the curvature pen and like pull this down, but I don't think it's gonna work. Wishful thinking on my part. It also kind of like broke things up in weird spots as well. Yeah, it only like partially worked. If you hold down shift, is it shift? One of these keyboard shortcuts. Oh well. It'll actually like keep the shape, but for some reason it's not. Oh, there we go. Holding down shift with the direct selection tool active, I guess. If you hold down shift with the delete anchor point, it will actually keep the shape that you have and just remove the anchor point. I was hoping that I could, let's see. Pull this down without altering the other shapes, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to do that, which is annoying. Stuart and Bliss are chatting about Bliss's streams. Yes, we do miss Bliss here, so hopefully soon. Well, actually, let's see, what if we change all of this to be corner points? This is me just kind of experimenting. If we change all these to be corner points, we actually need to remove this too. Including these, please convert yourselves. I have like extra points here. Oh, so annoying. Okay, I think I've got these all cleaned up. And now let's try using this. There we go. That actually might work out nicely for our umbrella. So I had to convert them all to corner anchor points. So Stuart's saying, could you just draw with CPT and then shape build it? That's that way. I don't know what CPT is. Curvature pen tool. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could. I'm just I was curious if I could use the, because I hate drawing like curves like this on the interior of shapes. I was hoping that I could just kind of use the shapes that I had drawn already and just kind of pull those corners in. We got there eventually. I'm sure there's probably 1,000 ways you could do it. Like I could have probably just left it split the way it was split with the what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The shape or the Pathfinder, but this will work just fine for my goals here. And the nice thing is you can kind of go back here and make some adjustments if you're not happy with the way that they kind of look. Okay, and like I kind of alluded to, how I think I want to handle, let me think about how I want to handle, I want to obviously do the outside and the inside shapes here. And what would be the best way to go about doing that? Let's actually make two separate groups. But I need that second one, these outside lines, to be a part of this second group. And then this here is going to go with this group. And then got one group. This is going to go behind. This group needs to go in front. Ungroup this, and then I'm gonna make did I do this in reverse? I did. Okay. In front. In back. I'm gonna start with the back group here, and I want to make closed shapes if I can. I don't really want this extending edge. I might for like later on add a little bit of wire extending beyond, but for the purpose of what I'm doing right now, I don't actually want that. And let's actually delete this stuff here. I'm just leaving this. And let's see what happens with the line. Let's try all of this and then no, it only gives me that. Okay. Alright, change of plans. Let's leave those on. Alright, I think we got it. Even though it doesn't look like it, and you're like, what are you talking about? But we did. So these are all individual shapes now. For the back portion of the umbrella. So I'm changing the color so I can see. Also, Odari, I didn't get to say hi to Odari. Welcome, Odari. How's it going? And we'll keep the blue lines so we can actually see them for now. So we've got our back shapes, and then I'm gonna do the same sort of a thing here with the front shapes. I'm gonna make a copy of these just in case. Paste in front. We're gonna delete all of the stuff we don't actually want here. And like I said, I'm sure there's like a million different ways you could go about doing this. This is just my sort of preferred way. Oh, you know what? I actually, I don't want that circle in this time. We're gonna go with, we're just gonna close this off. That's fine for now. And now let's do divide. I might have to actually clean this up a bit, so I don't end up with these multiple lines things going on here. happened here. Thanks for hanging out for a little while though, Dari. Enjoy your pizza. I will be back this weekend, hopefully. Okay, let's do... That should get us most of the shapes. I do need to deal with the outside shapes here, though. I don't want to cooperate. Always one. Alright, so we've got our outside shapes, we've got our inside shapes. Bliss is headed out. It's been a super long day. It's the start at 3 a.m. My bed is beckoning me. Night, Bliss. Don't think we need these reference shapes anymore. Let's go back into here. I'm actually gonna hide this briefly. Put all this in here. Let's grab this. Let's see here. Let's grab this. Nope. This one. This one. And oh gosh. Alright. Here, here, and here. This in front. Come on. I want to keep this in line, just bring it up. A little bit too high. Down a little bit. You know what? That's gonna be fine. Like right here. Doesn't want to snap in place though. Let's not delete this. This. I'm gonna ungroup. To go all the way out. Actually, you know what? Let's isolate this group. Lasso. I'm gonna deselect this. Come on. deselect the center here. Okay, well that didn't do what I wanted it to do. I only want the outside selected. Trying to do this with the mouse is a bit painful. Let's pull this down. Needs to come down a bit more. Center or something. I don't really understand how. I mean, you're not going to actually see any of these. Just shorten them a bit. Because they're going to be behind this. And then this. Up higher. I think? No, this is going to stay here. This dark blue. Actually, we're gonna make this purple. We're also gonna make this purple. We'll make this bigger. This is gonna be the umbrella handle. And this needs to come in front of this, but this needs to come in front of everything. Okay, so you can see there's kind of like the wires there that kind of hold the umbrella open. I actually think these are going to need to be purple too. Let's make, I don't know. Let's make all of these round while we're at it. Okay. Let's delete that. So many details to work out with an umbrella. Where's the hell of it? I also need to give this a bit of a hook. Well, you're not going to cooperate. Down. Honestly, I could probably make that a little bit wider. Come on. Alright, now comes the point, I think, where we need to decide on the actual colors of our umbrella. I don't mind the green. Alright, what is going on here? Hold the phone. Why did these randomly stay joined? Fix it. Maybe. Boy, you don't want to cooperate at all. What is going on with this shape? We fixed it. Now, would you kindly divide? Sir. Since you're uncooperative. What's going on? Well, that was a mess, but we managed to get it sorted. such a large stroke on this either. Or none. Oh my gosh, over here too? It's really annoying. Go in. Lots of adjustments, tiny adjustments. What is happening? I just want to select. Thank you. I feel like this actually needs to come way farther down. Like you wouldn't even maybe see it. we can actually leave this here for the top portion. Alright, hang on. This needs to go all the way down. Lock this nonsense. Lock all of this. I only want to select the middle here. I do want this here. Let's see. This seems mostly correct. I know you're probably like, but you just made that a compound path. I know. Trust me. One goes behind. One goes in front. Okay, lots of complicated pieces. Douglas is the perfection. Kudos. Thank you. I just want to make sure that I have an accurate representation of the umbrella, because from here on out it's going to only get more complicated, because obviously this is going to be like the base of our illustration. And we also need to fill this with water. And I want to have the water sort of be translucent, so that you can see these spokes and stuff kind of inside here. So that's why I'm kind of taking the time to make sure I have everything kind of how I want it before moving on to the next part of this process, which is probably going to be testing out what that water is going to look like over top. So let's go ahead and take a look back in here, because I'm going to want to grab probably this shape from my kind of sketch and bring it back up front. Let's not scale it yet. Let's just bring it down. I'm going to reduce the transparency. Slide this down a bit. And we can decide if we want it to be a little bit straightened out. Let's put this behind. You can get a better picture. We can go totally straight, but I don't think that's the right call, because that would only be like a little bit filled. Maybe something like that. That could look nice. I think that could work. Oh, you know what I should do? I should also turn my notifications back on. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, I'm not. Good. Let me double check. I think we've been streaming for about an hour. So, if you're just joining, we're working on this. I decided to pick just pull a prompt to start from. And so far we have like the first portion of this going. We've got an upside down umbrella filled with water and 2 rubber ducks swimming in it. I don't think I'm going to do rubber ducks. I think I kind of want to do, I don't know. We're going to see. Let me know what you think about that. I kind of want to make it look more like a real pond. I think that would be kind of fun with like real ducks, but do a little bit of magical realism. But we have our upside down umbrella. If you want to draw along, I've got the link to this. This is just this account called What the Prompt. I generally try to come up with my own, what we're gonna do for the day, but it's been a rough time, so I am choosing to kind of like give myself a little bit of a break and work on off of this as a starting point, which, no shade. If you want to follow along though, you can go ahead and follow that. Alright, so we've got our umbrella shape. This is why you keep these shapes, by the way. I can go back in here and grab... Oh no, I have to move it down though. Ah, so annoying. I can grab this original shape of the top of the umbrella here and use that as a clipping mask to clip my water. I believe. Hello? Where are you? Okay, let's pull this out. What's going on? Oh, I didn't actually copy. Okay. Make a clipping mask. And then we're going to reduce the opacity. Probably quite low. And build it up from there. So. The other thing to consider is how translucent and how still we want the water. If we want it to be like really wavy, or we want it to be sort of calm. I'm gonna go ahead and look up pond. Alright, well, let's start with some, like, larger shading. No, not. Maybe. Make sure that we've got our water in the right color here. I want to bring part of this through the surface of the water and part of it beneath. So let's grab the top part here. Come on. There we go. That's the starting point. You're a little disoriented by the fact that the water level seems to be tilting. Well, we discussed this. I didn't want to go all the way flat because then it would make my pool very shallow. Although because we're using clipping masks, we can kind of adjust and make it a little flatter for you. Of course, this is also going to affect our shadows here. We'd have something like this instead. Hey Gareth. Also, why is this edge so dark? I didn't ask for that. adjust this. Or it's just making my life difficult as usual. I'm just complaining about you making my life difficult. Is the water satisfactory now? Straighter? Yes. Okay. Well, there you go. Corey is happy with the results. Sorry, I'm just here thinking about how I want to handle the surface of this water. Could try making like a sort of pattern. Of the highlights on the surface. Which I feel like we've done before with Behance. Did like that whale animation? No, I guess I kind of abandoned that idea and just went with straight ripples because that looked better. Okay, well. Are there going to be ducks? There will be ducks. Why do you ask? They would affect the surface ripples. Yeah. You're right. And we also have a little bit of a darker area down here where the water kind of pools. Maybe it's enough for now. Just kind of leave it like that. Let's do before I move on, first of all, we should save. Because we haven't done that the whole time. Always dangerous. I feel like this is the song that Nick and Odari both like. Not to get off topic. front. And I'm just gonna go through and redelete all of the openings that I made. I know, you're probably like, what's wrong with you? But I want to extend, have these extend beyond the outer edge here to show the outside frame. So we'll just put this up again. And I didn't keep the copy, so here we are. Alright, so we got one, got two, paste them back. Isolate this. And go in here. Basically just extend these out a little bit. I'm actually going to turn off the guides for this. I feel like it's going to be annoying. Tab them on. Except in this case, I'm going to turn them back on. Alright, there's all kinds of weirdness going on here. Because of course there is. Undo all of this nonsense. Ungroup. Okay, what the heck? Okay, sorted it out. We're adding some waves in the water, especially the perspective of the handles and joiners. Yes, I think I want to edit the outside edge of this highlight and shadow to match more the actual shape of my umbrella here, but one thing at a time. For now, I want to add the outside frame. Okay, this got a little crazy, too long. why this didn't stay. Come on. Because it's gonna be one of those. Okay. Okay, there we go. Got the little pieces there that jut out. Let's do... I need a little bit of a shadow on this to separate these as well, but the back now. Just the middle. There we go. This, just these. Anybody know what these are called? I don't. The pieces that stick out from our umbrella. Alright, let's brainstorm some things we can add to our pod. Start a running list. You know I love lists. So I want to add some ducks. That's enormous. Let's make our text a little smaller. Alright, these are going to be like my notes. We're going to put them on this working layer as well. Let's add some pads, frogs. This is time for suggestions from the chat. Benjamin asking, are all of your videos on Adobe Illustrator? No, we've done other things in the past. It's just primarily lately we've been working in Illustrator because I've been doing a lot of branding. When I'm not doing branding, I'm doing illustration stuff. But I've also done streams in Adobe XD. I want to get into doing some streams in Figma as well. I just haven't had the energy for it, to be honest with you. And then we've done some fresco streams. I'm trying to think of what other apps we've used. Why is my Behance like live page is not loading? I don't know what's happening right now. I'm a little bit I just went to my page to see if I could find past live streams that we've done, but I'm actually not able to navigate beyond this April. April's live stream, so I don't know what's going on currently. It's a bit odd. I'm hoping that's a bug, because I would not like... It's been like that for a long time. Really? That's a little bit concerning, since I would like to have my history of my live streams. So I'm gonna have to sort that out. I'll be pretty upset if they are, without notice, deleting live streams from my page. I'm gonna have to look into that. Have I tried the 3D modeling? Connie's asking. Yes, we did. I started a class on 3D, but on domestic, but I didn't ever actually finish it in Blender. We also tried Nomad on the iPad. It's just, I have to like get back to that kind of stuff. Courses and things. 3D is on my list. I've done a lot of 3D in Illustrator before, so sorry, I'm just really distracted by the fact that my live streams seem to be gone. Josh is saying it's pretty cool coming from someone who loves Blender. I actually have a background. I did learn 3D Studio Max on Maya back in the day. It's just not something that I kept up on because honestly because the software is so expensive, or was so expensive, that it just wasn't enough. When I was in college, obviously, I had access to those programs. But after I graduated and it was kind of on my own to pay for them, it wasn't something that I could really afford to just kind of like something to mess around with, unfortunately. I don't want to go overboard with this. Maybe we'll just start with some ducks. Let's do... I'm gonna do a similar kind of thing here, where I'm gonna just start by like sketching some things. Probably do a new layer over top. Give myself maybe some landmarks for where I want the ducks to be, and also figure out the size. Let's do a duck here. Let's do one maybe back here. I do want them to be large enough to be legible, and we do need to have at least 2. Alright, so let's start back here, maybe. Let's do like kind of like my version of sketching, I guess. Probably want to split this. Something like that. And we'll add some little beads here. Starting with like the landmark for our feet. I just want to get a general sense. For where I want the ducks to be, and if I like this idea. Douglas is asking how you copy color with the eyedropper from a fill to a stroke and vice versa. Okay, so if we've got our normally with the eyedropper, let's just make 2 circles. Give this one a standard fill and stroke. Normally with the eyedropper, so this has got a white fill and a black stroke, and this one's got a blue stroke. If you just use it normally, it's gonna just pick up all of the appearance attributes. So it's gonna pick up that this has no stroke, or no fill, and a blue stroke. If you wanted to just pick the color, if you hold down Shift with the eyedropper, it's only gonna pull the color, and it's gonna pull it into what you have in front. So I've got the fill in front, so it's only gonna pull that color into the fill. And then the same thing if I had the stroke in front, it's gonna pull the stroke into the stroke color, but keep the stroke weight the same. So it's not gonna pull all of the appearance attributes that I've got applied to this. It's only going to pull, you know, the color itself into either the fill or the stroke. Or you can just, if you wanted this to be identical, you just click. But if you double click in here, you can actually see, you could get highly specific with this, what the eyedropper picks up and what it applies if you wanted to. So you could go in here and you could edit this as you're kind of working, or if you're working in a specific file and you want to have the information all to be set to whatever you're kind of working with. If you wanted to only pick up certain items, or you wanted to pick up everything, you could do that by editing these settings in here. This is also how you would go about, let me just drag out another rectangle here. Apply gradient to it. So if I select my color stop here, I believe I can also do that here. Yeah, so if you wanted to change a color stop in your gradient, if you hold down Shift when you select the color with the eyedropper, it's going to apply the color to the color stop you have selected. So that's a really easy way to pick up the colors if you want to edit the colors in your gradient. The same way, let's change this to purple. Nope, just the gradient color. If you had a specific color from a gradient that you wanted to pull, if you hold down Shift, it's actually going to pick the color wherever you hold down here. So I know that's another kind of frequently asked question, is how do I get a color out of a gradient? If you hold down Shift, it's only going to pull the color itself. So there's your little hot tip for how to work with the eyedropper and work with gradients and select specific colors and apply them in different ways. Josh was saying I need to get a 3D printer soon. I do have a 3D printer. We've done 3D printed stuff on the stream, which I don't have handy. I think it's over in the box over there. Stuff I need to go through. But we have done 3D stuff before. I have used my 3D printer. I actually used it. I did an experiment when Illustrator first came out with the 3D, new 3D effects, where I created the components in Illustrator using the 3D tools, and then I exported all of them out as individual pieces. Oh, it's green. It's gonna key out.
You should have thought of that when you made it. Huh?
Let me just pull up the project for it instead.
You have another
Huh?
You have another camera too.
Yeah, I know. I just don't. I mean, I don't feel like. Let's see. I'll switch to the overhead cam. Nope, that didn't work. Never mind. Overhead cam isn't working today. I have a project on my Behance if you look it up for this, or I could grab it really quickly if the website loads. It's gonna take a minute. Go to my projects. And I brought the pieces again. My point is, I had to build this in separate pieces and bring over the OBJs into Blender to then put together in Cure, which is the 3D printer software, and print this out and then assemble it. Because it wasn't straightforward, because Illustrator's 3D tools don't actually have like real 3D space. They just give the kind of like illusion of 3D space, if that makes sense. They don't like have context, sort of like the shapes will exist where you kind of place them originally in Illustrator before you apply the 3D effects. So just to give you a kind of quick example, if I create a box, this is fine, and I go to Effect, 3D Materials, we do an extrude and bevel. Just really basic, it'll take a minute for it to load. But what happens is it will create a 3D extrude, but the original position of this shape will still be tied to the square that I have in 2 dimensions. And so if you export an OBJ, all of your objects, if I like do something crazy, like I rotate this around, it's still going to keep that flat original perspective. So what happens if you build something that's like the phone stand that I made, it's gonna like bring them all in, stacked on top of each other, sort of like in 2D space rather than 3D like this has been rotated. So that's the only kind of like downside to working with Illustrator's 3D and then going over to like a real 3D application like Blender, is that you don't keep, the objects don't keep their like spatial relationships, because there's no, that's not really how the 3D works in Illustrator. Just something to be aware of. So I had to like export everything out into pieces and then reassemble it, which wasn't a huge deal because they were pretty simple and I wasn't doing like anything really complex. So thanks, Josh. Joshua. Can I call you Josh? Joshua? Anyways, there was a quick detour, but I do want to do a bit more. I have also done stuff with the my 3D printer, like little things. I've also done like some stencils. So for subscriber mail and stuff like that, when I have to do like a lot of repeat little drawings and stuff inside, because I like make little notes with little drawings and stuff. If I have to do that kind of like repetitively, I will just make like a stencil, print it out of like my artwork. So like you can make some line art in Illustrator, right? You can bring that into Blender and just kind of like do an extrusion on that, bring the SVG into Blender, and then send that off to Cure again and print out like a really thin symbol stencil that you can just kind of like very quickly go through and like get the line work, next one, and just kind of go through. I actually did that with like a Halloween one that I did on like scratch paper. So it does come in handy for things like that, that just like little things that can kind of like speed up your process. At least that's primarily what I've used it for so far. Let's decrease the line weight on this so we can see what's going on. I don't think we need it to be so intense. I do want to have one duck that's kind of like diving under the water, and I am afraid that the duck is a little bit large in comparison. Like if we imagine that this is going to be the size of a full duck, probably want that guy to be a little bit smaller, but I also don't want it to be so small that you can't see it. Tricky balance here. We'll just leave it like that for now. Gareth is saying I've made aperture blades for my Petzval lens. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm assuming that's some kind of camera. In the shape of an opening lens. For my Petzval lens, the shape of the opening is reflected in the... I never know how to pronounce this word either. Bokeh or bokeh of the resultant image. So bokeh is like the little light shapes that you get. And I don't remember how, like, from a technical standpoint, how those get created. Because I'm not a photographer. But Gareth would know. Doug was saying, do you usually have mood boards when drawing? How exactly do you envision your designs? That is a great question, and that depends entirely on the project. For this one's just something that I'm messing around with for fun. When I'm doing stuff like this, you can see that I've kind of like loosely created this kind of sketch to work off of. I kind of had, you know, when I saw the prompt, this was the one that like sparked. I was like, oh, I can kind of like visualize in my head kind of what I want to do with this. And so I don't really have anything, no kind of like mood board or anything like that. So I just kind of imagined in my head like what the perspective of this I wanted it to be. I did look up a reference of like, I have like some umbrellas off screen here, just a Google image search. When I'm looking at references, I'm actually just not really copying things from like, I just kind of have a Google image search open usually that gives me like a lot of different, you know, little tiny images of umbrellas, and I just kind of like overall look at their structure and figure out like how they should be assembled. At least that's how I do it. If you go back and watch, we did a challenge on this actually, drawing from references, where we did like a endangered species stamp. I did an African wild dog, and I showed how I just kind of like, I pull in a lot of different photos of the subject. Like we did a close-up to get like the fur pattern, and we got like some full body shots for the body posture, and that's generally how I work, is I'll just kind of like look at the reference and get a sense for what the thing that I'm drawing, you know, kind of should look like, and then I'll just kind of like, you know, create something that's just kind of like whatever the style is that I'm feeling this day. I really wanted to do something that was like a neon colors. I really like bright colors, but like, I don't know, this color palette, I just kind of like, this is what I kind of had in my head, something that, like, I wanted like cooler, instead of like yellow for the ducks, I wanted like a cooler yellow, which is more like a green, and I wanted this like transition between like in the waters kind of like cooler, leaning into the greens, into like my darker colors, which it's gonna be purple. Almost always my dark ends up being purple. So that's just kind of my thought process. This is kind of like the color palette that I envisioned, and sort of the layout I envisioned, and then I just kind of like play from there and see where it takes me. But let me pull up, let's open up Peristyle, the one with the mood board in it. This file may take a minute to open, but I do mood boards for projects as well. And generally speaking, how I do mood boards is usually I'll pull a lot of different things. So this is for a client, but even for my own, I don't just do like a single, my mood board isn't just like one thing. It's a lot of pieces and parts of things that I like. Like, there's like some things in here where I like the font style, or I like the look and feel of it, or like maybe I liked this one I pulled because I liked the colors, and this one I pulled for like, again, kind of like a look and feel, like I like the geometry of this one, the textures in this one, the style in this one. So I just kind of like pull a bunch of things. This one in particular, I wanted to look at like different types of packaging. So I pulled a whole bunch of different types of packaging, some more traditional, some more kind of abstract, some things that were like not at all coffee brands, but I thought could kind of like work. So I do, this is generally how I put together mood board. I put a lot of, and I try to like keep it really varied. I don't like to like really hone in on something specific when I'm doing a mood board. I like to keep it pretty loose, because I feel like that kind of gives you the opportunity to say like, okay, what are the things that I'm gravitating towards? Like, keep it pretty wide and then narrow in on what you're kind of looking for. So if you pull a lot of variations on the sort of initial idea, and then you can kind of like narrow in. So like you can pull, say, I think they liked this, they liked this, they liked this, and so we kind of then take like the things that we like, and we can kind of like narrow in on it, and get to kind of like what you want to create. I don't think any of these ended up looking like we actually did not go in the direction of the mood board. I find that the mood board, whether you're creating it for yourself or you're creating it, you know, with the client, is just kind of a way to get your thoughts assembled someplace, so you can say like, is this the direction that I want to go or not? So I always recommend it. I don't always do it for personal projects. Sometimes I just kind of like go with it, like today. Other times I do create like a mood board. Like when we did Society of Sprinkles, I did create like a little mood board for that. I think we did. I'm not gonna go digging in that file though, because it's enormous and that one would take 20 minutes to load, but we only have like 10 more minutes left in the stream. But I do want to read off Gareth, because Gareth is giving us the knowledge in the chat. Bokeh is the out-of-focus light in a shallow depth of field image. The lens shoots at 85 millimeters, f1.2, f-stop 1.2, so it gives a silky, smooth bokeh. It is a recreation of an old lens made by Lomography and is fully manual with focus on a rack system. It's all brass, including the lens cap. That is a history lesson right there. Now we know. So yeah, maybe I make these, let's do this. Let's make these our yellow. So we can see how that's looking. We're obviously gonna need to make some adjustments here to the color to get them to stand out. We might need to go really light or go darker on the background. Of the two. Let's go a little bit lighter for now. So I think that's standing out a little bit better. And let's actually go in here. Let's adjust our green. So I used swatches, so I should be able to do a little bit of adjusting on the fly here. There we go. I can also add a little bit of shading on the umbrella still, but we're still in kind of like sketch mode. Do we want to add like the duck under the water as well? A little big. Scale it down. You can at least kind of imply. Let's add a little duck eye. So we can remember where that is. I might actually have it backwards. You wouldn't actually see this. It would be more like this. You can actually see the eye to be on the other side, I believe. Unless we have a very acrobatic duck. one. More. Out of water. Although this is also going to be like partially under the water. Let's make this blue. And visually separate. Actually, let's do this. And this needs to go in front. And we need to add a little duck legs. So let's grab these. As a starting point. I also may have made this duck a little bit too big. I mean, the ducks are the most important thing in terms of prompt we started with. Let's leave that. Let's go back. Here. Let's make this one. I keep changing my mind, but I want this one to be a little longer. Obviously the other side of the duck. I don't know. Some ducks. Sarah saying, top of duck visible underwater makes sense since portion of the umbrella under the water is visible. That's what I thought. I might need to make my ducks a little smaller though. They look quite large in this. They already look like small ducks. Well, the umbrella, they're supposed to be, I mean, relative to the size of the umbrella. I don't want these to feel like the ducks are in too small of a pond, you know what I mean? That would just be sad. We want them to feel at home in their umbrella waterland. Of course, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's a huge umbrella. Yeah, it's a huge umbrella with tiny ducks in it. Ducklings. Oh, that would be so cute. We could make them little ducklings. We should make them very fluffy. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, and I don't know why I didn't do this today, I learned about, it's story time now because it's the end of the stream, so we're gonna hold off on this. We'll probably work on this on Sunday as well because I'm enjoying myself. So, you have to put up with another stream adding all the details to this scene that we started. Let's do ducks. Let me make a note of that, by the way, so that we don't forget. So we're gonna go ducks, in parentheses we'll say, little ducklings. Oh, we could do like a big duck, like a mama duck is watching the ducklings. That would be cute. Anyways, I don't know. We'll see what we do. I'll be back on Sunday this weekend, continuing to work on this. I have kind of, I know it's been like a little bit chaotic recently with my streams, but we're back in action. So typically my stream schedule is Saturday and Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But why did I go to big head mode? Something about the ducks. What was I gonna say? Oh my gosh. So I learned recently about, have you all heard of fairy penguins? This is totally irrelevant to the stream, except for the fact that they're adorable and fuzzy as well. So fairy penguins are these penguins that are from, now I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't want to get it wrong, from New Zealand? They're like, yeah, so New Zealand. So I guess they're also called little penguins. But they're these penguins that were, the species of penguins that lived on an island off of New Zealand, and eventually, like due to like land changes over time, eventually a land bridge formed between like the mainland and this island where the little penguins live. And so they started to, what? Did you say something? Or am I just imagining things in my head? Anyways, they so the little fairy penguins were in danger of like all of these predators that were now introduced from the main island coming over. Right, and so there's this really adorable story about how like a farmer, like a local chicken farmer or something like that, that lived like near the area where these fairy penguins were. And now I can't find it. The name of the dog, but so the farmer had these Great Pyrenees dogs. And essentially like went to the local government and was like, hey, I have this idea, we could, you know, these dogs are trained to like protect the flock, the chickens, and so he decided to like train the dogs to protect the fairy penguins in the same way. And so Oddball is the name of the dog, the dog who protected the penguins. And ever since then, they've kind of like always had like these guardian dogs, these Great Pyrenees dogs that have been trained to be on the island to protect the little fairy penguins. I just think it's super cute. I love the idea of like these magical, tiny baby, mini-sized miniature little penguins living isolated off of this island, and then the the big Great Pyrenees dogs, which are huge white dogs, being bred to protect them on this tiny island. I don't know. It's very magical to me. I love magical things like that. Similar to our little magical plant window. It's kind of a similar kind of story. I don't know, that will probably make it into one of my illustrations one of these days, because I just think it's such a cute... I love stories like that, but... Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Let me know if you enjoyed the stream. Like I said, somebody asked if I did any other things, any 3D, any other programs. I know it's all kind of like on my list of stuff that I need to get back to and want to do. I want to get back to that Blender course that I never finished. We were doing a little Bing Su character, but then my life got really crazy with work and everything, and then obviously getting back to the 3D printer stuff, which is kind of related. The Cricut stuff I want to get back to. I also have... anyways, I have a lot of things. I want to obviously do some Figma stuff, so let me know what you all are interested in seeing. I'm always happy to entertain whatever you're all wanting to see. I know there was also a request from Allison to see some, like, shading in Illustrator, which I might be able to do with this illustration, depending. So I can do a little shading demo in Illustrator, so that might tie in well with her request the farther along that we get into this. But thank you all. Josh is saying thank you. Jacqueline saying good luck. Thank you. Douglas says it was a pleasure watching you with such advice. Thank you. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Really appreciate it. Sarah saying thanks, Jack. You're always inspiration. Oh, thank you. You guys are so nice after I've had such a rough time lately. I really do appreciate it. I didn't know how the stream was gonna go because it's been a really tough time. I'm still recovering from surgery yesterday, so it's a miracle that I'm streaming today. But thank you everybody who joined. Thank you to the moderators, Corey and Nick, who are still hanging around. I've got links to all the moderator stuff in the description, so go check out the description. You can find links to Corey's Crock of Time food and fermentation community. Corey also redid your website if you want to share that with everybody in the chat. It's really cool. Go check it out. Corey's a developer. Does really cool stuff. Website's really cool. Nick, I've got a link to Nick's music, Fragnum Opus, down there as well. I think I need to update my links because I think Nick's got his YouTube channel back, so maybe you'll see some streams from Nick in the future. And then Bliss and Odari, who were here a little bit earlier before they had to run out for food and sleep. Also very important things. They're also live streamers here on Behance, so go check out their work there. And then I also want to just give a shout out to everybody for hanging out with me today. Andre, Bliss, Corey, Douglas, Gareth, Jacqueline? Is it Jacqueline or I think it's Jacqueline. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly. And then we've got Joshua, Connie, Nick, Odari, Sarah, and Stuart. I think Stuart's an occasional streamer as well. As well as Gareth. If you go check out, Gareth's got a couple of 3D streams in Nomad if you want to go check those out. I know a couple people were interested. Gareth saying thanks for the surprise stream, Jack. Yeah, I wanted to make it up since I missed this weekend since it was really hectic for me, but I didn't want to like lose track of that. And I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want to do a bunch of back-to-back streams over the weekend, so. Josh was saying I'll do streams one day. Oh, nice, Joshua. Everybody go be sure to follow Joshua here on Behance. Sounds like Joshua's gonna get into streaming. I'm gonna go do a follow right now. Bam, there we go. Lots of Star Wars art. Where's Odari? Lots of Star Wars art. Odari would be loving your profile. Alright, that's gonna be it from me. I'll be back on Sunday, but I hope you have a great start to your weekend. I hope you have a great end to your week, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. Bye, everyone!